We're now heading to the champs, to the Buffalo Bills, up to the cold, windy city of Buffalo that absolutely owns this division since Tom Brady has left. They say we're happy to see the man leave, and immediately Josh Allen took over as the owner of this division. Uh, this Buffalo Bills team that was a Dalton Kincaid drop away from beating the Chiefs and heading to the Super
Yeah.
Bowl. Josh Allen, can he get that monkey off his back of defeating the Chiefs in the playoffs, getting to the conference championship, or not? Excuse me, the Super Bowl, the big dance there. So that's really the question. I mean, it's we and probably the betting markets agree. I think the playoffs are almost a lock, but what you do in the playoffs is where the questions come into play. So this Buffalo Bills team that was 13-4 last season, coming off another solid year up in Buffalo. We're going to do it as we do every team here. We're going to talk losses, additions. Derek's going to give you takeaways. We'll get into some injuries, fantasy football takes, and of course, end with actionable best bets for this 2025 Buffalo Bills team. A team that already was a solid roster, so it's not like they had to do much, but
Yep.
they did bring in a few guys. They let go, Amari Cooper, no longer with the team, a guy who was brought in midseason last year, made some plays, but really didn't make a huge impact. We talked about Matt Collins going to division rival Patriots. Von Miller, the 30-plus-year-old, has moved on to Washington. Dwayne Smoot is with Jacksonville. Jordan Phillips, so Douglas are free agents. Khair Elam now with the Cowboys, already intercepting Dak Prescott and potentially some babies in the sidelines. And then punter Sam Martin is now with the Panthers. Additions: Elijah Moore, Josh Palmer, some guys who have showed some promise on other teams, but looking to really kind of break through. You've got Joey Bosa as the big free agent addition. Didn't really work out in Los Angeles, but a supremely talented guy. So hopefully he can put it together there. Some guys on the defensive line, Ogunjobi and Sanders. Brought over Shaq Thompson, which could potentially be a sneaky get for them. I know he's not slotted to be a starter, but let's be honest, that linebacking core deals with injuries every single season. And then the secondary, bringing in guys like Dane Jackson, bringing back Tre'Davious White, and then first-round draft pick Maxwell Harrison out of Kentucky, and bringing over Derek Forrest there in safety position. Why don't we talk about how you see this roster heading into the 2025 season?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, this is still the champs of this division. This is basically the same Buffalo Bills squad that we had last year. You mentioned when we were talking about the Jets, how they have much improved offensive line,
Right.
One of the better offensive lines in the league. This is the exact same squad in Buffalo, and they had a pretty good year moving bodies last year. So I think their offensive line is solid. One sneaky move that I think will be good for the Bills is bringing in Elijah Moore, who's been has been sentenced to a life in chains in Cleveland over the last couple of years, coming to Buffalo where you got Captain America there in Josh Allen. So I think you make a little bit of a step up in wide receiver from him and Josh Palmer. Keon Coleman, hopefully he develops a little bit more. On the defensive side of things, they made some sneaky good moves as well, bringing in Greg Rousseau to help out on the defensive line. Joey Bosa, hey, once again on the injury list. We'll talk a little bit more about him here in a little bit. And you mentioned it. I mean, their linebacking crew, for whatever reason, hasn't been able to stay healthy. They got a good squad there, but you bring in some depth in Shaq Thompson. So I think ultimately it's basically the same team as last year. They have made a couple of improvements though, in my opinion, just from the depth standpoint.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, they're a solid roster. Obviously, they were one play away from beating the Chiefs and going to the Super Bowl. And I
Yeah.
think they did make, some tweaks, some sneaky tweaks that you highlighted, right? Bringing in Palmer, little upgrade to the wide receiver room with him and Elijah Moore, bringing in Bosa. Shaq Thompson, I think, is still a very good player. And then
Yes.
the rookie Maxwell Harrison will have to step up outside, opposite corner of Christian Benford. You still have
Right.
Taron Johnson and Taylor Rapp in the back end there. So, It's a solid
We
roster.
can't talk about the Bills without at least mentioning our pit guy in Demar Hamlin and how he stepped up after dying a couple
It,
years ago. So,
yeah, are we sure it's him? Are we sure they didn't clone him or whatever the
well,
conspiracy
yeah,
theorists are saying?
yeah.
But yes, Demar Hamlin is still there and starting. So that's going to be. How do you not win rookie or comeback player of the year when you literally come back from the dead? That's insane to me still.
Because he
But
didn't come
anyway,
off the couch evidently, and Joe Flacco did. So,
yeah. Let's talk some injuries. They really just have a bunch of guys who are kind of nicked up. So
yeah,
we're just going to kind of breeze through a couple of these, but there's no real reason to talk through all these. You've got three guys dealing with some hamstrings, two guys dealing with some calves and a back there. So, Curtis Samuel, Maxwell Harrison, and Terrell Bernard all dealing with hamstrings. Very bad injuries when they're in the season. However, when you have 6+ weeks in the offseason to get them ready, barring anything crazy like a grade 3 full tear, which none of them have because we would know by now, they
right,
should be fine. Be careful because these have high re-injury rates, but the teams know this, the team docs, so they're going to be ramped up slowly and they should be good to go.
yep,
Same thing with Dorian Williams and Spencer Brown, who, Brown's been dealing with a little bit of a back injury. So they're being cautious to not kind of have this recur because low backs can do that. So
yep,
if this happens, if this comes back during the season, absolutely a bigger deal. But as of now, no real reason for major concern. Someone who played a lot of games for them last season.
yep,
The big one we're going to talk about is Joey Bosa, just
yeah,
because of his career and having struggled staying on the damn field and always seeming to be dealing with something. He's
right,
got a bit of a calf issue. It happened in May. He's still out for the foreseeable future. Like there's still this kind of like mystery around it. I mean,
yeah,
we're almost 3 months in. So this tells me it's definitely a grade 2 calf strain, which is
yep,
typically like a 4 to 6 week thing.
right.
So I mean, what do you think they're just being cautious? Do you think there's something more going on here? Or
No, I think they're probably just being cautious with their new asset. I think it's one of those things where if I'm the Buffalo Bills, not I'm not shelving Joey Bosa, but you don't need Joey Bosa in September. You need him in January and February
right?
to really rush the passer. So they can be as cautious as they want, these first 4 6 weeks probably. I still think he'll suit up week one.
Yeah.
Because it's we still got over a month away. But
Right.
yeah, I think it's nothing necessarily to be too concerned with until we hear otherwise.
Yeah, absolutely. So overall, I mean, they've got a decent amount of guys, quote unquote, banged up. And again, it sucks because this is a team that kind of gets banged up. But
Yeah.
if this was in the season, it's a little bit different. We're
Yep.
not there yet, so I don't think there's really a reason for panic. So at this point, all those guys are expected to be good to go.
Yep.
All right, let's get into the betting space. This 13-4 Buffalo Bills in the win total market. 11.5 wins heavily juiced to the over. 12.5 wins you can get plus 125 to the over, minus 150 to the under on DraftKings.
Yep.
Futures market, obviously they're one of the top, if not the top Super Bowl favorite. They're minus 900, minus 750 to make the playoffs, plus 570 or plus 500 to miss the playoffs. To
Yep.
win the AFC East, they're almost a 3-1 favorite. To win the AFC, they're plus 330, plus 340. And to win it all, FanDuel's got them at 7-1. DraftKings got them at 6-1. So, top the favorites, pretty much them in Baltimore as your
Sure.
two Super Bowl favorites here. Where are we at with this team? Win total, future market, anything like that?
Yeah. Give me the over 12.5 at plus 125 over on DK. I think like we started the Bills with, like, this is basically the same roster. You still got Josh Allen. You still have um, uh,
Cook,
James Cook. I mean,
defense, Milano.
not a whole lot has changed. And at this point, the Bills, I still have massive questions with every other team in this division. So a lot of times with these division previews, I'll like split the division and have each division team go 3-3 when I'm projecting win totals. Give them 5 wins in this division because
At
I
least.
really think that they'll just dominate. the
Yep.
AFC East. So give me the over 12.5 wins at plus 125.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. They've done it in 3 out of the last 5 years. I think the Dolphins are going to be terrible. I think the
Yeah.
Patriots are not there, and I don't think the Jets are quite there either. I think they're
Yep.
easily, I think they're a touchdown, if not more, favorite over every team in their division.
Yeah,
Uh,
and just
home or away.
schedule wise, like you got a coin flip week 1 against Baltimore, but it's at home, so you would
Yep.
think that would be a little bit of a leg up there. And then they go to the Jets. They got Miami, New Orleans, New England, Atlanta. Then they have their bye week 7, and then they have to go to Carolina before they face the Chiefs in week 9. So like by the time they get to the Chiefs, they might be like 7-1, 6-2.
Right.
So
They get the Chiefs at home too, and they beat the Chiefs
exactly.
in the regular season. They can beat them, right? So
Yep.
I mean, you're talking about. I would say probably their 4 hardest games on the year are Baltimore, Kansas City, Cincinnati, and the Eagles.
Billy.
Every single one of those is at home.
Yep.
And even if you want to include Tampa Bay as a team we like, that's at home as well.
Another home one. Yeah.
So I mean, they just have to go on the road to the Jets, Atlanta, Carolina, Miami, Houston. I mean, Pittsburgh's probably their toughest road test.
Right.
Which I mean, we're Steelers, guys, but it's not. Bills are a damn good team.
They haven't really proven that they can do much against Josh Allen. So
Right. Yeah.
I think
So-
Houston and Pittsburgh are probably their biggest road challenges there, and especially with Houston being on a Thursday night. But
it sounds crazy.
Schedule wise, even being a first seed a first seed schedule, it is looking pretty nice.
Yeah. It's crazy to be this in on a 12.5 win total, but I don't think this team's losing 5 games. So, all right, player props wise, I'll go here. Dalton Kincaid under 575.5 yards, minus 105 on DraftKings. Talked about it. He's got the competition with Dalton Knox. I mean, I think I would say those 3 wide receivers are better targets than him right now. Cook out of the backfield is a good target. I don't know. He might be the 4th or 5th option on the team, and he's got to compete with Dawson Knox. There's going to be, so I just don't see it. I think the number is still baked into some of that potential, and he's got injury concerns. I just don't see it from Dalton Kincaid there.
Yeah, no, I like that one. You want me to go?
Yeah, go ahead and do yours.
Yeah, I'll give me Khalil Shakir over 775.5 receiving yards at minus 110. This is their wide receiver 1, and I do think that he takes a little bit of a step up once again this season because we mentioned it. I mean, they have a bunch of names in the wide receiver room, but not anybody that necessarily stands out. Last year, he only played in 15 games and went over this number. He had 821 yards.
Right.
And I think he's going to have to in order for them to stay somewhat balanced through the offense and be that weapon for Josh Allen.
Yeah, no, I like that. I agree. He's kind of the de facto wide receiver 1-ish. I think they just kind of have more like 1A, 1B, 1C, I guess. I don't. Yeah, it's hard to really call any of them a wide receiver 1, but I'm going to play the guy I was talking about in Josh Palmer, just a little bit of the variance side. At Bet365 there, they've got him at 750 plus yards at plus 250, and then 1,000 yards at 12-1. In his best season there in Los Angeles, he had, let me see here. I believe it was 700. It was over 750 yards with Justin Herbert. I think he can do that with a better quarterback in Josh Allen. So 16 games, 72 catches, 769 yards there. So, yeah, I'm going to play the situation where Josh Palmer kind of has that Gabe Davis-like year, kind of comes a little bit out of nowhere, but he's that deep threat. Averages 15 to 20 yards a catch, and he stretches out the field for them with the guy with the cannon for an arm. So that's kind of the way I'm going to play it in a wide receiver room that's kind of up for grabs.
Okay. Well, I'll finish us off here with James. Let him cook. Last year, he led the league in rushing touchdowns. Led the league. Derrick Henry had the same amount, I guess. But he had 16 touchdowns just a year ago. I'm taking his over 10 rushing touchdowns at minus 110. Josh Allen, as dependable as a guy as it really comes, he's going to get his. He's going to, find the end zone 10, 12 times, just like he did a year ago. At some point, I think you got to start to protect Josh Allen a little bit as well. And I think they started to do that a little bit more around the goal line last year with James Cook. I think they do the same thing.
Yeah.
So give James Cook over 10.
Yeah, I mean, Allen even got his last year. I mean, 12 touchdowns for a quarterback is a lot of touchdowns, and he still crushed this number. So yes. I think that's a great bet there. And yeah, as Allen gets another year older, there's even less reason for him to be battering ram around the goal line. So, and that offensive line is good enough that you can hand it to the running back on the goal line, right?
Oh yeah,
that's kind of one of those keys where a lot of people are, some teams can't do it. They can't run the ball 3 straight dimes on the goal line with the running back, and the Bills are one of those teams that can. So, yeah. All right. The Buffalo Bills, both of us think that they are going to remain champions of this division, although the price is a bit steep for the division champions. So we are taking over 12.5 wins at plus 125 over at DraftKings. It's a great roster, a great team that only got a little bit better in this offseason. I'm going to be fading Dalton Kincaid on his receiving props. Jarek's going to take Shakir on his. He's also going to take James Cook to get over 10 rush touchdowns. And I'm going to be playing Josh Palmer, 750-plus yards at plus 250. And the case that he becomes that Gabe Davis-like guy, 1,000 yards at 12-1 over at Bet365. A little bit of a sprinkle there. All right. We did it. This was a long one.
That's the entire NFL.
We've broken down all 32 teams. This is our last division preview. So if this is the first one you're checking out, that's great news for you because you got 7 more you get to check out. We've done every division now. We did it all before the Hall of Fame game. That was our goal. So we're now going to get to roll in some other content there. Why don't you tell the people a little bit about what we have planned?
Yeah, so we got about a month of preseason football. So we might talk a little bit of, update kind of things over the next 5-6 weeks because here at IDP Plus, we're not going to not give you the information that we know that you will love and will need to get these bets in. But at the same time, we'll be talking about some injury kind of stuff because that's where Doc and I really that's our space as healthcare professionals, talking about injuries and what guys will really bounce back, what guys may we be fading. We might talk a little bit more specific injury situations. We might also talk a little bit of college football from time to time. So if you have anything that you're wanting, any information, any content ideas, throw them in the comments. Drop us a message in X, and we will we'll talk about it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Derek mentioned it, but we're also going to do a college football preview episode. Stoked about to do some college football this year, so we're going to give out.
We got to talk about like our overall best bets from all of our divisions. We got to talk awards. We got to talk Super Bowl champs.
We've got a lot,
all kinds of stuff.
A lot on the way, but of course we'll talk injuries. Yes. If you want some more fantasy football focused content, head over to IDP Plus, that YouTube over there. Both offensive and defensive side of the ball. Got a ton of content over there. But yeah, we're very, very excited. We were happy to get these threats out to you. As we say in every episode, if you agree with us on a bet and you want a tail, I encourage you to get these bets in sooner than later. The public is going to start betting these in August. The numbers are going to go down. Typically, they do not go in your favor. So I would encourage you to bet these now, especially on the player prop stuff. And yeah, if you've made it to almost an hour 45 in, this is a longer episode, but these a lot to talk about. So we would appreciate any likes, comment, any love you can give us there as a newer channel. We're on our way to 1K subscribers. So that is the goal this season. So I know we're going to get there. But yeah, let's go ahead and get on out of here. So from the DJ Doc and Professor Locks here at IDP Plus Bets, we are out of here.
Thank you for watching the IDP Plus YouTube network. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Be sure to tap the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload new content.